It was a happy day as John was finally getting married. He was being teased by both the Ark and Imperial family. First on the aisle was Big E, who was fiddling with his tie. Emperor, accursed tie. I hate this archaic. John, Father, you promised to do this, and I am using the culture I was accustomed to on Remnant Ahem Paradiso. As he fixes his father's bow tie. Emps, sorry son, it's just I am nervous. Magnus, the Emperor of Mankind? Nervous? Who are you, and what did you do to Father? John, love is a powerful thing, Magnus. It can override many things, especially if it's strong and true. It's not comparable to something akin to a booty call. Magnus, who would have thought? Maybe I should touch some grass and find a woman. John, just make sure your girl is not a follower of Siege. Magnus, oh fuck no. Then the pianist starts to play as they all look out towards the main doors to see Isha walking down the aisle. Big E was adjusting his collar constantly and was sweating. John, I can't believe it. Someone is making our father sweat, and that's not a fight. Corvus, it is a sight to see. Vulcan, Father can be happy for the first time in a millennia. Magnus, the same goes for our little angel brother. John, don't ruin the mood, Magne. Magnus, okay. This is a special occasion. Isha stood in front of a really sweaty Emperor of Mankind as he mustered the courage to lift the veil of her face, and she welcomed him with a warm smile that burns hotter than any Promethean weapon in the Imperium's arsenal. Isha, you look good. Emps, and you look absolutely stunning. The Imperial priest then asked them to exchange their vows, and they did. As the ring bearer in the form of Kitten was walking down the aisle as he reached the altar, and Big E and Isha took the rings and puts it on each other's ring finger. Duchess, would you take this wonderful woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Emps, I most definitely do. Duchess, and would you take this hulking man Emperor of manliness perfection as your lawfully wedded husband? Empress, y absolutely do. Duchess, and by the power invested in me by the man Emperor of Mankind, I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the Empress. Big E leaned down and Isha looked up as they both share a passionate kiss. While his sons and his sons' sons and the people throughout the Imperium were all clapping in unison through the broadcast. Vulcan was crying. Corvus, Vulcan, are you alright? Vulcan, I am so zoggin' happy. Asterisk sob asterisk. Magnus was nudging Sanguinius. John, knock it off, Magne Magic, I know I'm up next. After the wonderful celebration, Big E and Isha made way for their son's wedding as they watch on. The parents of the bride all come forward as some were still shell-shocked at the reveal that their daughters were already that far away in their lives that they decided to get married. And, oddly enough, it was one man. One side of the aisle were all friends and family who knew John and his wives, and all the rest were from Remnant. While on the other half of the aisle were all the sons Sanguinius has, from the Blood Angels to the Lamenters, and some who were not invited due to their bad blood with their gene father. The proceedings was going well except for Ty, who was still in shock while Crow filled him in about what transpired, and he couldn't believe it. Raven came in after she surrendered to the Imperium and turned away from her bandit ways. She was allowed some time off her punishment to witness this good day. Willow, Winter, and Whitley was in attendance. Jacques was under investigation by the newly improved Emperor's Inquisition. Winter was scandalized to hear her sister in such an affair. Willow was invited to be treated by the apothecaries of the Lamenters. Whitley was stunned stupid at the revelation. On the other end of the spectrum, Skyra was livid at Blake's irresponsible behavior, but was reminded that she was Callie's and his daughter. He was put in his place to enjoy this moment by Callie, who was absolutely squeeing for many grandbabies. Hestia, Pyrrha's mother, came to see what her daughter got herself into. Someone like Sun tried to disrupt the gathering but was met by rows upon rows of bolters aimed at the exit by the Blood Angels, Flesh-Tearers, Lamenters, etc., etc. There are so many chapters, fuck Gilliman, as they detected some unidentified movement outside. As John waited at the altar, the brides made their entrance. Ruby, Young, Weiss, Blake, Pyrrha, Velvet, and Coco one by one walked down the aisle. Then came Adrian in a tux carrying the rings, being helped by Saffron and Tara. Decius, do you Jaune Sanguinius Arc take these women to be your lawfully wedded wives? John, I sure do. Decius, do you Ruby Rose, Young Xiaolong, Weiss Schnee, Blake Belladonna, Kira Nikos, Velvet Scarlatina, Coco Adele take this amazing son of the Emperor as your lawfully wedded husband? The girls, we do. They then took the rings from Adrian and exchanged them with each other. Decius, you may now kiss. But before they could tie the knot, warp shenanigans began to erupt as a portal ripped open at the entrance of the chapel as familiar people began appearing. One such is art by Nimbus Daydream and Lehman. I knew that shortcut through this ever after was a good idea. Summer. No, it wasn't. I think I'm gonna puke. Asterisk burp asterisk. Ruby and Yang. I'm out, John. What the hell? Lehman scanned around and saw familiar faces. Lehman. Sanguinius? I thought you were dead. And why are you smaller? He then looked around. Lehman. Father? You're alive. And Eldar? Vulcan. Ibruda. Corvus. Hey. Lehman. Vulcan? Corvus? And he saw the mortal enemy he had long thought pass. Magnus. Magnus. You fucking asshole. Lehman. I should have sent your spine to Horus myself. Jaune Sanguinius. Then the entire place erupted to chaos and mayhem, until Big E sent a barrage of psychic fists on top of the three's heads. Lehman was knocked back into reality. Magnus and John calmed down. Emps. This is an important moment, don't screw it up for your brother. We'll talk about this later. John recovered and looked at Ruby and Yang, who caught their mother in a loving embrace. He looks to the readers. John. To be continued.